So first of all, to start off, we've got the Eldar avatar from Fadge316, and you remember that you saw in that video that I chopped the Eldar avatar up with a giant carving knife. Well, that couldn't be further from the truth. That was actually special effects. The knife didn't actually cut it in half, it just looked like it did, thanks to the magic of computers and George Lucas. However, I did spend the day today carving this guy up into appropriate pieces, and now I think I'm proud to say that I'm probably the only person on Earth stupid enough to own a Forge World Eldar avatar in pieces, at least to this degree. You can see here just how many different pieces there are: torsos, shins, kneecaps even, wrists, bits of heads and arm joints and everything. So mainly I just cut the legs from the hips. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but that's kind of fun to have a little baggie of a Forge World figure. And the reason why I did that is so that I can reposition him. Ooh, in what pose, you ask? Well, let me tell you. So firstly, can I just say that it was bloody hard to do this. I had to use a saw and a craft knife and lots of water to lubricate the joints, but also the water helps keep the resin, because the water's not really going to lubricate very well, but it is going to keep the resin down and not in my lungs. So put some water on the cut, make sure that you keep the resin flakes and the resin dust all together, and then give it a good wash at the end. And then you get your very own Eldar bag. Okay, let's have a look at what's going on here. In this pile we have our Eldar, which you can see here, separated up into all these different pieces. And over here we have a Tau Fire Warrior, Katachan Jungle Fighter, a Orc, Bloodletter Demon, a Tyrannid Gene Sealer with blades, or harpy arms, gargoyle arms. And we have a Space Marine, a Chaos Space Marine, one more, a Dark Eldar. So, what do all these things have in common? Well, except this guy, none of these are Eldar. And all of them at one time or another have been defeated by the superior race. And in that end, these guys have been immortalized for all time as the statue feet or statue legs of this Eldar avatar's throne. So I want you to imagine what happens to an avatar before it goes into the battlefield. It's locked away in its throne room, or in its wherever it's kept, and it's only until it's animated and re-energized by the spirit of a Eldar, a sacrificial Eldar warrior. So like a Dire Avenger will get his throat cut or whatever, or commit harikuri, I don't know, or commit seppuku, although it is an honor, so I'm not quite sure. And then he will, his spirit will reanimate this now living avatar. So reanimate this, and his spirit will reanimate this hibernating avatar. So basically, the diorama that we're creating, or this is a centerpiece for this is a centerpiece for Fadge's. This is a centerpiece for Fadge's Eldar display board, but also it will be playable. So it will be the Eldar avatar in the process of getting up from his throne. So he's just sort of taking a half step forward. He's sort of just sitting up and pointing, and in front of him, in a pool, in a depression in the ground, in a pool of blood, is the body of an Eldar Exarch, or Eldar Dire Avenger, sorry, is the body of an Eldar Dire Avenger whose blood is flowing through the carved channels towards the seat of the avatar and bringing him to life. But the throne on which he sits is held up by 8 columns, and those columns are actually these figures carved in stone or in wraithbone, and they're all sort of holding up the throne on their shoulders. So that's the project, and what we'll be doing is taking a reference photo now of me getting up off a chair until I find the right pose. Then I'll be building this as simply as possible to match that pose, won't be doing any kind of design work on it, just filling in the gaps. You'll see the torso here is twisted. I'm going to try and straighten that either by using hot water, which will probably be a dismal failure, or just doing a cast and then redoing the torso there, just carving it out and rotating it, or building a new one. If I can try and match that. I mean, it's pretty ambitious. We'll see how we go. So, and then I'll build each one of these guys into a kneeling stance, so they'll all be kneeling, holding the throne on their shoulders. The throne itself sits on a dais, which is circular, and the dais is actually floating. When you take it out to battle, it has an anti-gravity well underneath it, which is where these parts come in. These are some Dark Eldar and Eldar parts from some Vipers and bikes and other things that I'll be using to augment the Wraithbone throne. So it floats, and we'll do some cotton wool and things like that, most probably, and the next stage will be designing, I guess, the Wraithbone itself, and I'll be doing that with some pink foam. So I've got my pink foam, I've got my covering, and I've got my figures, and we're going to get started right away, and I'll have an update for you tomorrow. Thanks guys!